Thank you, Angel, and Heidi. Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard for this Thursday, the 24th of June. If I seem a little rattled at the moment, I am, because I've just had a bit of an argument with somebody on the phone. So my apologies for that. Let's get on with the job, shall we? We'll get over that very, very quickly. Okay, first up, and I'll get to an apology very shortly, but first up, let's have a look at the pound, because I think this may even be tradable today. What have we got? We got a false break. That didn't happen. Didn't pan out yesterday. Today we have a range for the last 2 days that's kind of in here somewhere. Again, we've got this higher, 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 low situation until now, and that's somewhat interesting. I'm inclined to trade this range here. Let me see if I can get some numbers on that. Speaking of numbers, we got the numbers horribly wrong yesterday on dollar Swissy. 76 pips, we're bang in the middle of it. Yeah, I'm inclined to go with this one. Again, completely untried, well, it's tried, but it's completely not a tradable system as yet, guys. So this is pure information only. Levels. Now let me get these levels bloody right, for God's sake. I'll do it with this, then I can check it. 140.001 becomes 1.4006. 1.4006 is the entry for the long. Stop loss will be the entry for the short at 1.3918. 1.3918 will be the stop loss. And weekly pivot has to be your target, I suppose. There's not much in that, is there? In fact, there's nothing in that. 14 for what? About 80, 90 pips nearly. No, that doesn't work. Versus 90 for, it's only 21 as well. No, cancel that. Doesn't work. Don't want to take it. I think it'll break out, but where it goes, I don't know. Hi, Lewis. How you doing, mate? So let's scratch that. It looks okay, but yeah, I don't want to trade into the weekly pivots. It's already been a source of magnetism to the market, so I'm not going to mess with that. And DR2 has to be your next level going that way, and the reward to risk is less than 1.5. So I don't want to do that. Hi, Paul P. Right, so let's go and give you the bad news. The bad news is completely my bad. And what I did yesterday was position myself to trade this as a break of the neckline of a head and shoulders and a retest of that. Now, I did say at the time that I would put my stop loss 3 or 4 pips above this level here, which I then put my I put my cursor over it, and it gave me a completely wrong number. So we came up with 91.95 instead of 92.03, or maybe even 92.04. Of course, the market got nowhere near that, but it did get near to where my misleading number was. Didn't trade there, I've got to say. It might have now. Yeah, it has now, but I'm out of that trade. Now, I hope you guys, if you followed that, woke up to the mistake and put your stop loss where it belonged, up here, and you're potentially still in that trade. That's not to say that it won't get taken out, but yeah, that's my bad completely. My apologies if you got caught with that one. Am I still thinking well, it can go either way, right? We're still not in the space of knowing whether that dollar is going to continue to rally or otherwise. And this is very much a case in point where we're going sideways at the moment. Not inclined really to get into them, I've got to say, those dollar scenarios. What is just as interesting, I suppose, is the market sentiment, and the market sentiment as portrayed by the Swissy and the yen in particular, Aussie, CAD, Kiwi in particular. The latter three, of course, being the risk-on currencies, and the prior or the previous being the risk-off currencies. So are we risk-on or are we risk-off? Good question. Now, I, again, go back always to Aussie yen to answer that question. We don't want to do that anymore. We've already done that this week for a break-even trade. We're almost back. Well, yeah, we're almost back, one would say. Where was that? Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. We're almost back to that point where the FOMC statement put everything into my mind, still to my mind, an overworked situation, or certainly an overreaction to the situation, or whatever the Fed said. Anyway, I think we've seen that in price action throughout the week. What a shame I didn't go by my convictions and just put an entry down the bottom here. That would have been okay. Anyway, that's not generally what I do, and certainly not what I do or did in this case. Where are we? Where are we at? Look, I like the prospects, not so much of Aussie yen at the moment, because there's nothing there to work off, frankly, except this level. If I got some confluence, maybe I do have some confluence later, but I don't have any just yet. Maybe something through here, but we're probably even talking about tomorrow at this point. That's a 4-hour chart, so I'm not interested really in Aussie yen. It could do what it wants, and I'm not going to get involved. Euro dollar, however, this is kind of unlike me in that I don't like to trade black or bearish bars short. However, this looks compelling to me, and if the dollar is to continue rallying, and the jury's still out on that as far as I'm concerned, then this should seek lower lows. And on that basis, and of course I have this bearish outlook, you'll recall the monthly false break, which is pretty clear to me on the monthly chart, and stands out rather ominously, if you like, for euro dollar. But it's as clear as you can possibly get it. There's no better example of a false break than this. Now, whether it pans out or not, of course, is another story. But what has been created here is a super duper level where that resistance trend line coincides with the support trade line. You could probably even draw a trend line up there if you wanted to, and it'd be pretty much exactly where price is at the moment. I'll just check that. Wouldn't be far away from it. Yeah, it's not far away from it. So you can see this big gathering. There's also a horizontal level running through there as well of support and resistance at this area. So it's here that I think we'll see lots happen. It may not be instant, but once it does happen, I think you'll see price either rocket down to here or take out these highs, that being the less likely scenario to me. But we'll see. Anything can happen. But that, as I said, that false break, if I ever wrote a book on false breaks, that would be one of them. That would be a picture I'd take and place in there. So I am bearish the euro dollar. And we've got kind of a convoluted one here, but you can definitely see, I can definitely see, a left shoulder, a double head, and no right shoulder at this point. That makes life a little bit less interesting, but I totally see this target area down here, and that's what I'm focusing on at the moment, trying to get us down to here. So with the setup that we were presented with, test of the daily pivot, weekly pivot, rejection of the weekly pivot, and pretty much at that horizontal level as well. I think that is a wise scenario or a wise setup to take. So that's exactly what I've done. Now I am going to check these levels, which is what I should have done yesterday, but it looks all right to me. And really, that's the lesson that I need. Well, I don't need to teach myself the lesson. I know the lesson. I was just a little bit slack yesterday and didn't place the trade at the very same time as I stated it. Otherwise, you would have got that clear picture that the stop loss was in the wrong place. Anyway, that's my bad, as I said. The levels are right. If I've actually, I better check that. 1975, yes, that's right. And 1909, that is right. That's the main, they're the main two. TP1, 1.1875. We can check that as well. 1875 is, oh, you can see it. There it is. That black line. So there's TP1, and that's reasonable. It's a bit better than 1/2 to 1. And if we get this right and price does go down to this level, we should have a reasonable trade on our hands. So that's euro dollar. Now, today, and my apologies for not posting my my preview and review in the Telegram group until just now, because I thought I had done that. I had posted it everywhere that it needs to go except in the Telegram group. My apologies. But never mind, if you're here and you weren't there in the Telegram group, you'll now get a pretty good overview of what my thoughts were going into today. The number one thought was apologizing for dollar Swiss. The number two thought was having a look at Swissy yen, CAD yen, and CAD Swiss. Why? Well, similar to euro dollar, and again, this goes back to what the market sentiment is at the moment. Thank you, Angel. Yes, if you're not in the Telegram group, that's what you need to do. Click on that link. And there you will get all my previews and updates, trade management, etc., as well as what Ash contributes there also. So the reason I didn't trade this was not because I don't like the candle. I do. It is a potential lower high. Maybe the retracement's not as long as I would like it to be, and therefore I didn't take this position. I'd rather trade the euro dollar than this. So I think monthly pivot is probably the place I would look for that lower high. It does coincide with this former or the high of this former range that was taken out. And that's what I'd like to see. We've already retested the bottom of it, so that candle is valid as a trade. But I'm just going to wait and see if we do hit the monthly pivot. I think it's exactly the same trade, and I think, you know, most of the trades this week are exactly the same. In particular, if you're trading with or against the US dollar, everything you do that's got a US dollar in it is going to be exactly the same trade. So I don't think it really makes that much difference. And the yen and Swissy pairs, of course, this one is different because it's both of them. They're also going to be the same trade because it's either risk on or risk off as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not taking this candle short. I may regret that because it is a candle that I do like, but I think if it was sitting on the monthly pivot or even across the monthly pivot, I'd like it far better. And as I said, CAD yen and CAD Swissy were exactly the same. CAD yen's there. Let me have exactly the same. In fact, except better. These are better than Swissy yen. Why? Well, same kind of thing, except there is the difference. The monthly pivot has been tested and retested, broken, retested, as is, you can call that a neckline if you want. It'll do for mine. And that candle there is interesting to me. In fact, it really got my attention, but I chose the euro dollar. Again, I think it's the same trade as this. Well, it's not really, because the CAD, it's really tough to trade short the CAD at the moment for me. Oil's still buoyant. Maybe it's due to come off, and that's kind of where I'm at with the CAD. I'd like to trade it, but I'm just a little bit wary of it. But that's again a decent setup on CAD yen, and CAD Swissy is exactly the same. Well, when I say exactly, not exactly, very similar. The difference being that we have had a close above the monthly pivot. That would spook some, not so much me. In fact, I think it's a better candle because it's a smaller candle and you can get a decent profit out of it before the weekly pivot is retested. So, you know, if that's in your mindset, then I don't think this is the worst to take. In fact, I will be taking that as a shot over the bow and looking for a way into that at some stage on a smaller time frame. At the moment, no, not really. The 4 hours not giving me anything. The hourly I'm not really interested in because it's the first candle of London session, but there may be something for us coming up because I do have a resistance trade line through here. So what I'd like to see is price get up to here, maybe even test that high, then come back underneath, then retest, then we can go short. But of course, the monthly pivot has to be respected at that point. The third thing I wanted to look at, and did look at this morning, were the two pairs that I went into the week expecting big things of. When I say big things, I mean these were the two that I trusted most of all. EuroCAD was one. The reason is pretty clear to me because they're the outstanding, if you like, pair in ranges. Why? Because we're going back over a month. We've been in this range. And it's very, very reliable. But it's too late, of course, for the short. It already happened. We didn't get a lower high to trade on any time frame that I'm aware of because I couldn't find one. And well, the only one you got really was there on Tuesday, very late in US session, and very big candle to trade anyway. Too tough, really too tough. So now we wait for back in, higher low, buy. And pound Swissy was the other one. And the reason pound Swissy was one is because of exactly the same reason. We are at the top of the range. The range is quite reliable. And we've even got a nice little trade line there. If we were to sneak underneath here, maybe hit the pivots, come back and retest the underside of that trade line, then I think we've got a short on our hands. And don't forget I am slightly bearish the pound against the Swissy and the yen if the market says we're risk off. But the market's not saying that to me. It's in the fact the market's not talking to me at the moment. It's not telling me whether the dollar is going to continue its strength or if the dollar is going to go back to its hapless, suitable self and being a sell. So that's kind of where I'm at, folks. Everything else is as normal. And we're still in a heap of trades. We can update those later in need, but really nothing's changed overnight. So let's say good day to Ash. G'day, mate.
Hi, mate. I've just heard how you are. Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with you. There's a buying opportunity with the FTSE, but it looks quite limited. You know, and just as you were saying that the market's not talking to you, I think that's a really good way to put it. I mean, what I'm seeing is buy signals. But those buy signals, as I say, don't look like they've got much follow through. And then when I consider, I mean, in fact, let's go through my thought process just for kind of, I guess, educational purposes.
So, thanks, John. We'll sharpen our pencils up.
We got a quiz today, have we?
Oh yeah. Very
exciting. Okay. This one here. So this is where we're at with the FTSE. I can bring this here. Let me bring this here first. I'm still trying to get used to this new setup that I'm getting on. Oh, here we go. So this is what we got with the FTSE, and as I say, it looks like it should be pushing to the upside. You can see that just here on the hourly, there's this low down here, and it looks like we've got this higher low in this area here. There is, I haven't got the pivots yet on this, but let's just focus on the price action for now. there's this situation here with the 15, which kind of puts us up at up here. But what I'm looking at, and these little inverted head and shoulders here with the 15 as well. I'm just going to bring it back to the hourly, because this is the slight issue is that there is just maybe a broader kind of picture here, and that's the broader picture, and we're on top of that particular price point. So even though the market looks like it could well go higher here, the upside might be limited, and if it's not here, the upside may only be to the top of the price there, which I suppose, to be fair, is another 0.5% to the upside, near 0.5% to the upside for the FTSE, which you know, that'd be okay if you kind of if you've got the correct kind of money management, and I do think that's achievable, but this hourly pattern is just putting me off. Now, if the market was incredibly buoyant, then I wouldn't mind. I'd just take the trade, because I do believe that the market is. I would prefer to go long than short. Is probably the best way to put it. But then when I start kind of breaking down what could mess this up, then this is what we start to come up with. We got announcements today. Now, let me bring this over here. Let's see if I can get it to be the right screen. I'm using my my iPad as a extra monitor while I'm trying to sort things out here. So this is what we got. This is set for the wrong time, which doesn't help. But this 7 a.m. is actually 12 p.m. in the UK. So this isn't going to be for another 4 hours. So we got you know, according to this thing, it must be looking at trying to track. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's change this. Let's change this to GMT. London. I'm not sure why it's doing that. That's okay. So we got that in 4 hours' time. The Bank of England rate decision. Now, it's not that would necessarily kind of be that we're looking for any kind of surprise with that. It's more the fact that it's there. You know, it's more the fact that that's coming up. So that's a bit off-putting. This unemployment claims as well. All these unemployment numbers start to become really interesting, because we were talking yesterday about. In fact, we were talking on Tuesday. Shukri was talking about. Is there likely to be a bear market with the stock market? And they're probably a bear market might. Yeah, Lewis, you're absolutely right. The resistance on the 1 hour is too strong to trade, and I think that even though the other signals suggest upside, we've kind of got to respect everything, and not all the picture points in the same direction. So that's another reason I'm staying out. So technically, we're not really there. Fundamentally, we've got a rate decision out at 12 o'clock. Now, obviously, that is UK-centric, so that will affect the FTSE 100 most specifically. I don't like the downside. I don't think there's enough to kind of suggest that we're going lower. So so that kind of leaves us in a bit of a hiatus, maybe until after 12, maybe even later, because the unemployment numbers start to become interesting now, even though this is only an orange folder. The good data that we had yesterday, I think it was factory orders. All of these good numbers now are going to potentially have the reverse effect on the stock market. So whereas before we'd be looking at growth and we'd be looking at stocks that were effectively part of that data that would have been collected to give us the picture of further growth, we would have sort of like said, okay, well, if the ISM is strengthening, then we can look at companies that are giving the survey for the ISM, and those companies will probably start to go up in value because they're actually showing some further growth. But now we're in a situation where, because of the taper talk that we've now had, anything that is good news almost starts to put the potential for that taper forward. And that is negative for the stock market. So these unemployment numbers are really important. And actually, it's the unemployment part of the jigsaw, which isn't really in place. You know, we've had good numbers from the US, but we're still not getting those employment numbers as a positive print. So if those numbers, if the Fed is to have, I suppose, everything it needs in place, it really does need those unemployment numbers to come down. Jerome Powell certainly seemed to suggest, from what I could hear, that he's not too concerned with the jobs market. He seemed to be quite happy with how much the US is growing, and because it's growing in a certain way, the labor market should recover, and it doesn't become a concern. But again, it's kind of back to that thing. Jerome Powell also said that this was a transitory situation with inflation, and I think some of the things they say are actually not to spook the market. So if he was to come out and say, we're going to have to raise interest rates regardless of the jobs numbers, then that's going to make people panic. So his stance of kind of saying, we are going to raise interest rates because the job numbers will pick up, no problem. It kind of like, it makes people feel okay. Now, that could start that story could start to unfold with these continuing numbers that we see. So unemployment claims later on, I think, have got higher importance. And again, that might just put us on hold for a little while. So we might not have the opportunity this morning to trade the FTSE successfully. It might be just a little bit too much of a battle. And that's kind of the way I'm looking at it right now. I'm just kind of seeing way too much of a wrestling match to want to get involved. So I'm with you, mate. What the market is saying to me is, I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but because of that, it's kind of, it's making me just a little bit unsure about direction. So it's a wait and see. I think that's okay as well. Good job we've got the quiz to kind of get us through.
Sorry, mate, I'm in a business argument here at the moment, so I've just got to sort it.
No problem at all. What's how are we doing for time here? 22. So yeah, I think we're pretty close to quiz time. We won't start it without you, mate. So you.
No, I'm back. I've just vented my spleen on this gentleman that I hesitate to call gentleman.
Okay, mate, all right.
Sorry. Yeah, no, not terribly happy at the moment, mate. Anyway, for that reason, I won't be trading because I'll just take my anger out on something.
Yeah, I think that's wise. LT, how you doing, buddy? Good Thursday. Yeah, happy Thursday to you as well, mate. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, interesting, mate. I was in where was I the other day? I was in our local hardware store with Molly. We were just going to go and buy some soil for a little fairy garden she's created. And we saw these bamboo cups. She was absolutely enthralled by them. These lovely bamboo teacups.
There you go.
So they're getting everywhere.
Mate, there's not much you can't make out of bamboo. It's true.
Yeah, taking over the planet. I was waiting to see your Tasmanian devil icon.
Yeah, stand by. Just
Jeff
takes a little bit of time. That's all.
Yeah. Okay, mate. So should we get on with the quiz? You fancy going for a bit of that?
Yeah, I might as well rip into John.
Yeah, okay. It's good. So, all right, I'm going to get.
Just a bit of advice, John.
Yeah.
Let the Wookiee win.
Yeah, I know that look well. I have that most days in this neck of the woods. I got to try and share the screen. How do I do it? I'm very.
Oh, that's okay, mate. You're a bit rusty. There should be a share screen at the bottom of your.
Because
bottom of your screen.
A few options. No. Oh, my thing. Okay, got it.
It's okay, mate. You should see a panel. Have you see the panel at the bottom where you got some options?
I got yours. I can see. I'm viewing your screen.
You're viewing my screen, yeah. So maybe it's the panel might be hidden.
No, I'm being a muppet.
You got it.
I've got where I need to go. Yeah, I'm just being. What's the word?
It can be very ordinary trying to find that control bar at some stage.
Oh,
That's
really
sometimes.
frustrating.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying that I'm a bit of a.
Do you know what what I've started to do is move everything else off onto another screen. So I just leave Zoom stuff on one screen, which is a complete waste of screen equity.
Yeah.
But it's the only way I can be sure that I won't lose things behind other things.
Indeed.
Shame, but it's not that thing. You can't see my screen, and how stupid.
Not yet.
I want to find.
I can see the Forex factory.
You see the
that's-
40, yeah, which is still mine, right?
Ash's. That's Ash's screen. So how can I get? Have you given me control to share? No.
Let me see if I can
share.
stop share. There we go.
Only all participants. So I just go. That's it. Share. Oh, I'm rocking and rolling. Sorry. Yeah.
Just the way you
Alrighty.
can play music, mate.
Yeah, I was just. I was just. I think I've been in the bar all night, probably.
Here we go. Buddy brain time.
Yeah, this is Jeff. Don't bite my head off, man. Some of these questions were a bit weird.
I won't, mate. I'm slowly settling down, but I'll tell you what, I'll be having a couple of whiskeys as soon as this finished.
Okay, let's see if I can get this thing to work. This would be most appropriate if I can. Or is it just going with it? It's just going with the rest of the day. That's so weird. Man. Why doesn't anything...
Don't worry, John. You know what? It's one of
go.
those things. We can be relaxed here. Oh, here we go.
We're on. No, it's just being a doodah. Okay.
Oh, look at that! What lovely little
With the markets
Silly,
moving faster than a cold beer in a hot sun, there is plenty of FOMO and FUD around. But what the
we were talking about FUD yesterday. Did you look it up, Jeff?
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't either.
And I read it again today.
You read it again. It's everywhere. I mean, it's one of those things. That's why I don't like using the term, because I don't really know what it stands for. Okay, we got the first one. I kind of know what it means, but without no. Let me see what like. I could probably remember. Let me see. It's
I better put a couple of X's in there, I think.
Okay, so if no, he's got a brain scratch on there.
I don't think I'm going to get it, mate.
Fair, I had to look them up. I am showing.
I heard it the other day, but I hear it. All I hear is the word, and somebody actually said what it was the other day, and I know what it means. I know what it's suggesting, but I can't remember the breakdown of each word for each letter.
Yeah, I've got from my previous job. We've got other words which are very similar to those, but I'm not going to say them on air. Okay. Okay. Fear of missing out, and then fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Do you know what? I would have never got that actually.
No.
Me either. Somebody did. Lewis did. Lewis is all over it.
Lewis is all over, and Swee is. Swee's on it every week.
Okay, El Salvador is working hard to get the Bitcoin accepted, but the IMF are not that keen on helping. Who are these guys? Who are these people? Apart from being very...
they used to employ, what's her name? Christine
Lagarde.
Yeah.
Yeah, the money mafia.
Yeah. Got another name for these people. On a similar, there's another dark, shadowy organisation. The Bank of International Settlements is based in which country? Extra bonus for naming the city.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's good, mate. That's good. Okay.
This might be getting a few people to quake in their boots later in the month.
In that case, it's got to be a bit of it's a curveball then. You're suggesting.
It is. I mean, I had to do. How did I get involved? I stumbled across it by accident, and I just got stuck into it a little bit. But thought, oh, fair enough. But then I thought,
Paul, Swee, and Lewis have all gone for answers that I would have assumed initially, but because of your tone, it suggests to me that
Paul is definitely. Yeah, we'll take Paul. We'll take Paul to the casino, definitely.
Oh, really? Oh, that is in Switzerland.
Yeah, but, there we go with.
Barcelona.
Oh, that's what I would have gone for, but because of your tone, I was starting thinking somebody in Russia.
No, I'm sorry, shouldn't do it. Don't take me to a casino. No,
I thought yes, we know it's the
they got Basel III. I got stuck. This is to do with something to do with banks having to hold more gold than paper.
Yep.
Europe come online.
Oh, I'm sending my answers to angels. No wonder you can't see them.
And then the people that are quaking the most apparently are the London bullion market, who are coming on board in January. I was just curious how it would affect prices of gold and silver. Hey ho.
That's good, mate.
Margaret Thatcher and the leaders of China have something in common. They both like to get rid of miners. Thatcher in the 80s, obviously these guys now. But which miners are the Chinese targeting?
Are you talking about what are they mining?
No, which type of miners are they targeting? Because you can get coal miners as well.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll have to change.
Yeah. Oh yeah, everybody's on this one.
Which is this is why I keep hearing the word FUD because of China.
Okay. The European Central Bank is one of the big movers and shakers in monetary policy, amongst other things. But which country and city is the institution based in? Everybody, no. Yes, I was gonna give everybody a little hint, but if everybody wants a little hint, I'll give you a hint, folks. Let's just say this country may have given up its currency, but it definitely wasn't giving up control. A bit like the Americans weren't going to give up control. That's why the UN building is in New York.
Can't think of the name of the place.
Sounds like Mel Gibson's line. So I'm going to say Scotland.
No.
No, I'm joking.
This is the tricky one. It's a little bit easier for me because I lived in the country. German, Frankfurt.
Oh, really?
Frankfurt. Yeah. Couldn't think of it.
Yeah, yeah. So they may have relinquished their Deutschmark, but they were not having,
Interesting, mate. Interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't realise that. I thought it was in Belgium as well.
Look at that building. That's it. That's what we're all paying for. That's what you're paying your taxes for. I'm paying my taxes for as well.
It was the only one in the landscape.
Yeah, because you flattened everything. This is where Jeff can get in with a couple.
Oh, this is interesting. What a lovely question.
A couple of swift blows can get an argument going. Which is the best session to trade for volume? Obviously, there's Asia, and then there's New York, and then there's London. But there's a bit which is really, really good. Apparently, I might be completely wrong.
It's interesting you're saying that. Now you're throwing me off track.
Yeah, no, but there's a session that it's got the highest volume and it's got the most liquidity moving through it.
I would have thought.
It is a crossover session. To be fair, it is a crossover session.
Okay.
Lewis is already in the casino, spending everybody's money. He's in there with Mark Cuban looking for those Titan coins. I could be wrong, but that's
that overlap. Okay,
yeah,
that's interesting.
So what? Effectively, that's the US Open, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good question, mate.
Okay, here we go. Why is the Forex pair
Called cable?
US dollar called cable, or its nickname?
I don't know.
No,
course you do.
I hazarded a guess. Oh, look at that. Yeah, you can take Jeff's ATM card to the casino and go for it.
There you go. I'll make sure I cancel it before it goes.
It's to do with the cable under the sea back in the day to transmit the exchanges amongst others.
Certainly makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously not now, but it's still. Okay, there is a musical question.
Oh, brilliant.
It's sort of musical. There could be a little bit of music at the end of it. But these are the questions. You're going to get a picture in a minute. You need to name the instrument that the person's holding. And then if you could name the army regiment and the person, there's extra
Wow.
points. Okay, there's your question.
I know the
You need
answer before you put it
you
up there.
need to name the instrument. And then the bonus points are, can you name the army regiment and maybe the person as well? Ready?
Wow.
Person.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. This is fairly sort of age. There we go.
I know the person is.
Although I know what the instrument is, I think.
I think.
My
that
wife
one?
said
Is
it's
that
been
one?
me. They might not be able to name the regiment, but actually, there's.
Is that the right
There's little
instrument,
things
John? Or is
Oh,
it the other
Paul
one?
is on the money. Yeah, Paul's got
Oh, it's the other one.
it.
Okay.
Just he's pretty close.
Oh, is that you, John? It's awesome.
I had to work it out. That's back in '89. I do have
Wow,
one with
mate,
the
that's
machine gun,
amazing. Do you
but
know,
I
I was
thought
just
the
looking at it thinking I recognise that guy, but I don't know where
I thought the
from.
machine gun might be a little bit. I've got to find it. I've got a machine gun and saxophone, but it's a bit different.
Wow.
That's 32 years ago. No, that's Welsh Guards.
Ah, I was close.
That is. We're off to the palace. And for the people who say you're not allowed to have short hair, not like those sort of golf ball haircuts.
Yeah.
You were not allowed to have to go into the palace because you had to take your bearskin off if you went into play in the palace, and you were not. They didn't like short hair. That is the musical question. I was going to play the march, but then that's a bit unfair because you probably would never know it.
That's a really cool picture.
But here it is. I've got that clarinet.
1989. So we're looking at 99.
There it is.
Wow. 32 years ago.
That's new. That's new, and that's new. But these bits in the middle are still there.
Is that your is that your is that the one that you always play?
Sorry, I was going to play the regimental march of the Welsh Guards, the Rising of the Lark. It's not exactly the most bop tune you'll ever get, and it's not going to be slamming on the tables later on tonight in Brighton. But
Yeah.
that's the musical question.
Oh, mate, that is really cool. Thought it was Ed Sheeran.
Okay, yeah. But again, I've not played this since I left the mob. You're right. There we are.
Very good, mate.
Very good, mate.
Very
That
good.
is today's quiz.
Nice one. Nice quiz. I like that one. I'll tell you what, it was actually really good, and I thought that the questions were the perfect type of pace for the questions this week.
Yeah, I thought about it because some of the other things might have been a bit obscure. So
Yeah.
if people want a little bit of a heads up for some of next week's questions, look at the nicknames for some of the currencies.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
What I quite like about what I quite like about your quiz is that initially when you see the question, it looks like it's quite an easy answer, but there's always a little bit of a curveball in there. You know, you can always have a punt. Anyway.
Yeah, I like doing it. Why do I like doing this? I know why I like doing this. It's because the diverse people that are actually joining in.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Obviously,
Yeah.
there's people from all over the world, so you've got to think, right, will they be able to get these questions? Do you think they'll get this? Will they be able to get that? Okay, can I throw in a few, not quite sarcastic funnies, but
Yeah.
No, you're doing good job, mate. Good job.
Yeah, very good job. I don't know. I'm not sure what the scores were there. I think I got about 2 out of however many there was.
Yeah, I didn't do much better.
Two or 3. I didn't get the picture at the end there. I don't even recognised you, John. I can't see it. Oh no, Jeff did.
Lewis got 1889.
Oh, Paul did too. Paul
That's so mean, man.
Actually, Sweden as well.
Yeah,
Sweden recognised you. Paul recognised you. Jeff did. I didn't. Lewis did. Okay. All right.
No, I mean,
me.
Yeah, it is a bit like that. But the reason I got big glasses on that, we were being a bit awkward. We were trying to go for glasses as big as we could to wind. Nobody. We wanted to find out whether the officer who inspects us before we go on parade would tell us to take our glasses off. So we all had a stupid bet to go out and buy big glasses. This is how childish we wear.
If you put blonde hair on you and you're John Denver, seriously.
maybe then, yes.
Yeah.
Don't
go flying planes. That's all.
No. Back then, you would not have trusted me to do that.
Do you know what? I forgot to. I've been forgetting to update everybody on the European Championships as well. Has anybody been keeping up with the footy?
Yeah, no. Got no chance in the next game.
No, we got no chance in the next. Well, I don't know. Germany, out of everybody, I would have taken Germany. Wouldn't have wanted Portugal. Wouldn't have wanted France, but I would take Germany. I think at least it's a dream. It's the dream game, to get for us.
It's the best game. This sounds weird. I hope England lose so they can get rid of Southgate and actually get somebody in who will allow all these creative players to really play football. Because if you watch some of the Premiership games, they're more creative.
I tell you what, mate, be careful what you wish for. I mean, one thing I've learned being a Tottenham fan is that just when you think you can get better, you go backwards. And if you think about what's happened to England right up until this point, we were going nowhere. The last few managers have been, Fabio Capello and all these guys were just the wrong appointment. So aside from Harry Redknapp, I don't know if there's anybody else out there that is gonna. And he's, his time's gone. But at the time, it would have been Harry Redknapp would have been somebody.
That was a challenge job.
But do you know what's interesting? When I watch the games, I look at it and I look at France, and every single position has got the perfect player in that position. So the way that the French system is that they obviously train the right player for the system that they're going to play. They obviously decide in the system years in advance and say, right, we need a defensive midfielder, i.e. Claude Makelele. We need somebody a bit more creative, Paul Pogba. We need a little attacking kind of midfielder who's got some creativity, Griezmann. We need an out-and-out striker, Benzema. And everybody seems to be in the right place. Whereas in England, they just kind of it's just a load of players and they go, okay, well, don't worry about the system. He's playing the best right now, so get him in. So you get players out of position. So it doesn't matter how good you are. I remember Steven Gerrard playing on the left-hand side of midfield. It's like, what's that about? He's not going to be able to do a job over there. The French just seem to have the system down first before they pick the player, and I quite like that approach.
I mean, I obviously not now because I'm living out in Malaysia, but I used to spend my time in the south of France, and I used to go and watch local rugby matches there. Just local teams, local. I used to play for a team that used to go and play the Brighton rugby teams quite a lot. But in the south of France, the style of rugby that they're playing used to represent what they would be playing at a national level.
Right. Yeah.
And you can see all the skills being developed.
Yeah.
Okay. But
it makes the most sense, to kind of blood them right the way from the start.
But having said that, if England do get past Germany next week, I think that they'll go.
Well, do you know what? Lewis is just saying about Belgium maybe a surprise package. I don't think there will be much of a surprise if Belgium do it. I think the 4 teams that I can see having now the best chance would be Italy, Holland, Belgium, and France. I think they're the 4 that I'd look out for, because Belgium have got Eden Hazard, they've got I can't think of the guy from Man City now, but I think he might be one of the best players in the world, and then defensively they might not be great, but they've got Courtois in goal. They've got a great team, and obviously Lukaku up front, and he seems to be doing the business again. So I don't think Belgium will be that much of a surprise. I think Holland are the surprise if they do it. Italy's good. I like the look of Italy as well. So
Would there be a stock market jump if England beat Germany?
You never know, mate. I mean, I've never really studied the seasonals of the football championships, but there probably is one somewhere along the line. There's definitely not going to be a market jump today. I have to say, it is like watching paint dry, watching this market. I'm going to quickly show you the FTSE 100 here. We know what's happening with Forest Factory. So I've got to share screen again.
Yeah,
it is not a day to trade, in my opinion. Well, not for me.
Looking at 25 pip sort of range.
Yeah, it's going nowhere. I mean, this is a 15-minute chart here, and what are we at? We're 3 bars in. So this is where it opened. Pretty. Was it that one, or it might have opened down here? But we are so close now. We're within 5 pips. So the market has gone nowhere. It's just not moving, and that suggests straight away. And this is the thing, when we talked earlier about what's the market saying, it can tell you something which you don't really want to hear, which is, I suppose, what's happened today. And what it appears to be saying is we're waiting for the Bank of England rate decision before we commit any money, and maybe it's waiting also for unemployment numbers. So we've got really 2 things to put us in hiatus, and 2 things that would suggest that entering into this market would just be too much work, and we're trying to avoid the headspace. And this is a mistake that I've made many years ago, where I would trade on less information because of wanting to be sort of involved in the market. But as time's gone on, you recognise that actually I prefer to make the simple money than make money, which is a slog, which I'm really going to be sort of like married to my chart. So I just don't do it anymore. And the signals are just very, very flat. Bitcoin, interesting as well. I think Bitcoin. I don't know if you're still got your Bitcoin holdings, John, but
yeah, I'm a little bit of a, what's the word?
Hodler.
I'm not sure. No, I'm not quite sure what the word is, because I spent a lot of time in the military. We used to have a saying that if it can go wrong, it will. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean it's going to, but if it can go wrong, it will.
Yeah.
And then the first casualty of war is. It's the question. I was going to. It's the first casualty of war. We were taught this. Murphy's story yesterday is the plan.
Is the plan.
It's the plan. I was taught that by my father-in-law. So I've got my Bitcoin. I've got very little in there. I've got some staking.
Yeah. And
I got a couple of good one of those initial coin offerings that I don't think the other people got.
Oh, brilliant! What coin is it?
I got Mina protocol.
Mina. Oh yeah. And what did you do? Did you go and buy? Did you have to go and do it through Uniswap, or did you?
I got the initial offering.
But how did you go onto the? In fact,
CoinList.
What's that? Sorry.
I got it through CoinList. You put in your KYC.
Yeah.
And then you're just in a list, and it's just by the lap of the gods that you.
Oh, right.
To the front of the queue or part of the queue.
Yeah.
And, I think $140. That's all I've put in. I thought my max on anything is 150. That's it. And
Yeah.
it's spread everywhere. And it's held its own. It's gone up and down, but it's held its own.
That's
So,
really good, mate. Yeah, I think we're likely to get a bit of an explosion in. I mean, the only reason I ask about how you went through the process is that I think that the IDO period is probably about to pick up again. I would have thought in September, as Cardano and Polkadot and Solana come online. I would have thought that we would.
Cardano, that seems to be reasonably priced for what it is, but I don't go much. I've got a limit of how much money goes into that.
Yeah,
it's good. I'm a bit like Jeff. I understand some of it, but some of it just goes way over my head. I can't get over.
You're probably exaggerating when you say I understand some of it.
Yeah, I grew up with computers, from Atari computers through music.
Yeah.
I understand that, but because I'm a live artist and I can draw a bit and things like that. I can't get my head around NFTs. I can understand why people might, but I can't put my Wonga into that. I'm not
really.
No, I can do it for music. I can see that there might be a point where I can use the NFT token for my albums or my books or things like that. But I'm not spending 60 million on some virtual art.
I see what you mean. Yeah,
I mean that side of it. I can't understand that, but which is fair enough.
But isn't that more about appreciating what somebody wants to buy rather than the NFT itself?
But so I sort of let that go there. So I studied the music side of it, that side of it where I can get rid of those middlemen.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I do think that's where it becomes interesting. But I think that eventually, you will be able to get to the point where, you'll be able to buy Netflix and all this sort of stuff as an NFT.
I mean, don't worry. I have got my NFT art ready to go. I am doing it.
Yeah.
It's just that I have to be careful with it. But the Bitcoin king or queen of the house is my wife.
Oh.
It's not me. She put money in Bitcoin when it was down at 12.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
brilliant.
And then I'm the Bitcoin idiot. I lost the key, my access to my Luno wallet. Eventually, I got it back, but I still have some money in it from that time.
Oh, brilliant!
12,000. So I thought, that's quite nice. So
that is good, mate.
I used that money to buy some coins with because it's
brilliant,
free money.
Nice.
So that was quite nice. But
that is really good. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it right now because I think all of a sudden the crypto market is back at an interesting price point. I mean, this is where we get sort of, if we believe in it, and that's the thing.
I do. It's not going away. I mean, I don't like to argue with people because it's not fair. But it's a bit like you can't put this genie back in the bottle.
No, I don't think you can.
Like the Industrial Revolution happened.
I think you're right, mate.
But it's not.
Yeah.
So the government want to overtake and have their own digital currencies. Well, then the clever guys will just invent another way to have their own thing again.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah, I think you're right, and as I say, I think it's at a decent price point just to start getting interested. I wasn't interested at 60,000. I thought it was a stupid price, but I did always say I want to pay the same as Elon Musk paid, and if he paid 35,000, I think this is a decent price to start getting in, and building a position. But that's just my opinion.
Helen chancelled over. Was it about 30? I think.
What's that, mate? Sorry.
Helen, my wife, she chancelled a bit over into Bitcoin.
I think that's good. It's back to the old story, isn't it? If you don't leverage, don't over leverage yourself, don't risk the house on it, don't put money in you can't afford to lose, don't get overexcited, but participate if you believe in a space, then you're doing you're doing all you can, because what we don't want to do is kind of like get to the point where we get romanced by thinking that this is going to be the thing that is going to take us out of one kind of wealth zone to another, because it may, but it may not. And I don't think you can ever be convinced about anything 100%.
We got into Bitcoin through having to actually use it as payment. But Helen was the first one. She actually had to use Bitcoin for payment.
All right.
That's how That's how my wife became more aware of it.
All right.
That's how we got into it. So we set up our wallets, or my wife did, over a period, because we were using it as a method of payment. Can't remember what she was doing with it. So she was ahead of me with it.
Oh wow, interesting, mate.
She'd written down all the keys, and she said, "Oh, set your wallet up." I went, "Yeah." And then I forgot my key. I thought, far. So when you missed out on yours, I thought, yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got out of that, mate. Got out of it. I did threaten them, so they listened, and I got it. It's all good. It's all now divested into Pat Boone somewhere.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, but I'm looking at Cardano and two others because I like what they're doing, and that's.
Oh man, Cardano is. I just think that they take the when it comes down to a coin, which if you can call a coin moral. I just think that those guys have just got a moral stance, and I think that they're trying to do what's right for the world. It's not just about building a coin and making loads of money. It's about what's doing right for the world, and that's why I like Cardano as well. I'm with you. I think Solana's interesting. I mean, there's some really interesting projects, but I've always been a Cardano fan, and a lot of it is because of the way that it feels like as a project. It seems like they're putting it together for the right reasons to me.
Yeah, but I'd never have got into it without Shukri popping up on your show.
Oh, mate, brilliant!
Never.
Yeah,
I'd never have done it.
No. Well, I think Shukri has if nothing else, I think he's made people aware that this space is out there. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, it's interesting because there's times where I'm on the show and I just think, oh, we're a bit late here. We're a bit late getting in. This has been massive. This big bull run. But then when you go out into the street and talk to people just still don't know anything about this stuff. They don't know anything about crypto. You ask them about Bitcoin and they haven't got a clue. And I'm talking about pretty young people too. Pretty young people just have got no idea what the crypto space still is and have never heard of Bitcoin. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's earlier than I thought. I thought this thing was quite mature now, but it's earlier than I thought. From the conversations I'm kind of having out and about. And I get the odd person that says, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that. I don't really understand it, but I've heard of it." So I think that the fact that we have had Shukri on this platform for the last, I don't know how long it's been now, Jeff.
Yeah, good question. Oh, more than that.
More maybe a year actually, because it was right back in when we started in the US show. But for the last year, I think that the awareness of anybody that has participated with us has grown significantly enough to feel like you're in quite a comfortable space, at least sort of like having just an everyday chat about cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't touched wood. I'm in profit. I've made no losses on it.
Do you know what though? It's because all it is. One of the things about it is whether we could sort of like need to look behind it and sort of like say, what is this thing? What is the movement? It almost doesn't really matter. What matters is that it's an asset class. And as traders, we're just there going, is this something that I can potentially make a profit on? And as long as we can ask and answer that question, then you can get involved in it. And then it's just kind of doing some research on how do I get involved in it. Now I know, that it's an asset class that I might be able to make some profit on, because it could be anything. It doesn't really matter that it's crypto or whatever else. It could be gold, it could be silver, it could be bamboo, it could be anything that is out there. That's
bamboo. That bamboo.
I think it does. Sorry, man.
Without bamboo, I don't get to play.
There you go. Got to have the reeds, mate. That's right.
Bamboo reeds. That's it. Without them, I'm stuck.
But I think crypto has more to it, Ash, than just another asset class, because it could be the new thing.
Yes,
that's the kind of thing. It's the springboard that it may be. I'm not saying it will be, but it looks that way. It's shaping that way.
I know what you're saying, mate. Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
And that's why it's got so much potential. If it does actually become what it's potentially aimed to be, really, at the end of the day, then you'll see some dramatic stuff go. And look, talk about volatile, man. I've had about 14,000 notifications on Kasama. Is that what it's called, Kasama?
Yeah.
Over the last 24 hours, up 27%, down 34%. Up. My God, if I was trading that, I'd be absolutely off my head.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And to answer your question, Lewis, no, not done anything yet. Not a thing. So, yeah, I'm not about to trade those things, but I do like the staking stuff and the pools. That all makes sense.
I like that too, mate. And you know, I've done a little bit of trading with some cryptos, but as soon as I make a mistake, which inevitably you do, because they're so volatile. You go really well. One mistake, and then I'm like, right, that's it. Now it's time just to park it somewhere, and just stake it, because actually you can get a bit romanced with the pace of the whole thing. But at some point, I think it is quite nice just to go, actually, if we just treat it like a stock, which is just kind of returning some dividends, then it's a really, really sort of like nice thing to have in the background that you don't get involved in. Which is another reason it's so cool, because you can do whatever, you know, you can interact with it in a few different ways. It's not just one or the other.
Well, until I understood that, and again, that goes back to Shukri, until he came on here and started to explain that you can actually invest in it rather than trade it, then it made, I nearly swore, it made perfect sense.
Yeah.
Rather than just the trading, because that's way too volatile for me. That's crazy stuff.
Yeah. Lewis, I've been on about ADA for a while, and it's been my go-to coin, I guess. But maybe because it was the one that I kind of did do the research on. I now know more about it. But there are others that I think are really interesting as well. But as I say, I like the moral aspect of that. Anyway, mate, let's wrap it up, unless you've got anything else that you want to add or update us on.
Well, we've got ECB later, haven't we?
Have we got that as well? Jeez, I thought.
Is that today?
I didn't see the.
I don't know. I haven't looked at I'm just going from my memory. I could well be wrong.
Oh no, mate. I don't think we do. I hope not, because I noted down. We certainly got the Bank of England at 12.
Oh, okay, that's what I was thinking then.
Okay. All right, great. Yeah, no ECB. Yeah, no, nothing there for the rest of the week. Actually, today is the last big day. We got FOMC member Bostic speaking later on as well. Tomorrow, a bit of core PCE. So again, inflation numbers. University of Michigan at 3:00 and UK time, and then it's all done. So there's a few things on the horizon, but we're getting close to the end of the month. And does that mean?
I was going to have a look at the breakout trade, thinking it was ECB, but no.
Okay.
The pound's 150 pips for the week, so I'll leave that alone as well.
Yeah. Okay, mate. All right, but let's wrap it up there, and we will be in some.
Yeah. So the only other thing that I've still got that euro dollar position that may or may not do the job. It hasn't triggered yet. That's the only other one I've taken in the last 24 hours, I think. So everything else is up to date.
Yeah, brilliant stuff, mate. Lewis, yeah, you're right, mate. I think watch the unemployment gains, but watch those PC numbers as well, because they might have a little ripple effect on something. I think it depends on how extreme these numbers get from here on in. You know, if they remain quite flat, or they remain in line with expectation, we may not see any genuine movement. But if they provide a bit of an extreme, then we might get an opportunity for some volatility. But if you consider how volatile the market has been since last Wednesday, it kind of makes sense that we have what we got going on right now, which is watching paint dry. Because as Jeff says, that if we think that a trend is a road to the next range, it's almost the same as saying, you know, volatility is the path to the next sofa, I guess. And
Wow. That's out there.
We're taking a pause, and I don't know if it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna get unhinged for maybe the rest of the week, and maybe even. I'm just looking at some of the numbers for next week, and I don't really see too much of interest. We might be waiting to the end of the month before things.
I still want a rubber stamp on the dollar or not. And I expected that we'd have it by now, but I can't see that.
Can we not say that the dollar's going to push higher, and we should be looking at entries on the dollar index around 91.22?
I can't say that. No.
No. Okay, mate. I mean, I guess the problem that we've maybe got with the dollar is that it has been such a dog for such a long time that it might take a while to turn things around, but. I can only see the dollar going higher from here. You know, it's still way down, and I think we could quite feasibly see a 5 to 7% rise in the dollar over the course of maybe even the rest of the year.
I haven't seen a higher low on the weekly yet. That's something I'd like to see.
Yeah, we're right on top of the range, aren't we? Or near it.
I believe so.
Yeah, agreed, mate. I agree with you on that, and I don't think you could qualify the little dip as a right shoulder. So I think there's probably things that we do need to see, but I think that there are signs and signals that do push, you know, potentially do suggest we get pushed higher. If we look at the dollar Swissy as a bit of a proxy, then on the weekly.
Yeah, Lewis, is it too obvious, mate?
The
euro short? I'm not sure.
Oh, do you know, mate? It's interesting, isn't it? Because that's almost the place you get yourself. That's something so obvious that you almost don't do it. But I think that sometimes these things are obvious because they are right. And I do think you've got this one. I think dollar strength is coming, and we could doubt it as it starts to retrace. But I think we should be looking now is at where's our opportunity to get into the dollar, because now we've had the catalyst, we've had the upside. Let's let it get retraced, give us a higher low, maybe on a shorter term time frame than the weekly, like the daily. But I think anyway, this looks good to me.
Yeah, look. Where's the euro going to be by the end of the week? Yeah. All right, I'm going to go with 117. Whoa. 117.40. There you go.
You're going with 117.40. I'm going to say 119.90.
Okay, going nowhere.
Yeah, I think we might even get a retracement for the rest of the week.
Yeah, look, that's the thing that doesn't concern me, because we shouldn't be taken in if that's going to be the case. But the next level isn't that clear to me.
I'm going for 120, anywhere around the 1.20 mark.
Yeah, I think it's got strong potential to get to there, but that's where you want to be looking to sell if this one doesn't trigger.
With you, mate. With you. And what I'd quite like to see is it close up there this week, and then next week we can just be free to go short on a fresh week.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That would give you a nice clean false break on that weekly chart as well. By the look of it, if you draw your trend line down from the top through the lower low or lower high.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, the first lower high.
This one here.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice.
Well,
yeah.
That looks good to me.
Yeah, I agree with that, mate. I can probably tidy that up a little bit more.
Might even be there now.
Yeah, it might have seen. Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, look at that. Look at how prices reacted to that price point.
Well, that's why I've got the short there now.
There's a few things, aren't there?
We'll
Yeah,
see.
there's a few levels here which would suggest that that these price points are in here. It's either the trend line. It could be a retest of the horizontal level. But yeah, I think you are probably picking price points now. That's the way I'm seeing it. I'm seeing euro dollar short, and you're just picking out price points where you can go short on.
Yep. That means
Okay,
I've got to
mate.
trust. That means I've got to trust the US dollar.
You've got to trust the dollar. Yes, yeah, you got to trust the dollar, trust the data. But I think that's okay for right now.
Yeah.
See what happens with the unemployment later. But let's wrap it up.
Happy days.
Thanks everybody in. Thank you to you, John, for the quiz. Brilliant one this week, mate. Thank you to Angel for looking after us. We'll be back Monday, same trade time, same trade channel. Have a great weekend, Jeff. I hope the dust clears a little bit and the mist and everything else, and you can have your whiskey.
Yeah, whiskey will fix it. Be right.
All right, mate, and enjoy your weekend.
You too, mate. And to all the trading buddies in the show, thank you very much, Angel, John, and Lewis, for your always insightful inserts into the show. Thank you very much indeed. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Bye-bye for now. I got it.